We are in the midst of the festive season, so I think it's a good idea to talk about relationships in this festive season. We have just celebrated Dasera, which is the doing away of 10 evils in your life. We have celebrated Eid as well. And now a big festival, Diwali is coming up, and another big festival thereafter, Christmas is coming up. Festivals is a time that we like to spend with our friends, with our near and dear ones, with our family members. But have we maintained relationships with these family members? Have we been nurturing towards these friends? Are these friends available to us? This is a time to find out if you have been taking your family members for granted, or have you been working on your family members during this festive season. So this is an exciting and fun period. There is a lot of cooking, there are a lot of traditional meals being put out, things that are cooked maybe once or twice in a year during a particular moment in the year, let's say. New clothes are being bought, a lot of shopping is being done. The house is being spruced up one time in the year. It's not a springtime, but it is still a sort of spring cleaning that is being taken care of. So a lot of newness is in the air. Festive lights, festive flowers, even rangolis that are being set out during the festivals that are coming up. The weather, it's doing its bit to make you feel nice and happy. The oppressive heat of summer has gone. The unending rains that we have faced, we are done with them as well. And now there is a nip in the air and a very pleasant, cool air all around us. This is perfect for all the heavy silks that are going to come out during this festive season. Let's take a look at work. This is a time when you are possibly getting a few days of break from work to dedicate towards friends, towards family, towards celebrations, towards a fun, festive gay time, let's say. So spending time with families, with extended families, there is a lot of excitement, but there are also a lot of expectations. Parents and grandparents may be visiting you. This is the time that they will use to dig deep, to get more information from you, to dig deep, to find out what exactly has been happening in your life. What have you been up to? So a lot of information may make you feel interfered with, may make you feel a little uncomfortable. And this is that time when you will be facing all of these kind of incidents. The media also makes a family look like a perfect, happy family. Everybody is smiling, everybody is hugging, everybody is kissing each other, everybody is so in love with each other. But real families, are they really like that? Perhaps not. Real families are real because they are imperfect, because they love, but they also have a lot of anger. They also have a lot of old wounds. And during family get-togethers, these old wounds are very likely to come up. Everybody wants to get together and have a drink. But before you know it, a drink moves towards many drinks and finally it moves towards a bottle. And this is the time when unfinished business comes out, when things that were left unsaid on earlier occasions come out. And this is when a happy moment very quickly moves to a tepid moment, an angry moment, and a moment that might be difficult to manage. There will be several such moments that a family may experience. When a lot of people get together, there will be a lot of events. This requires a lot of planning and organizing. And the more planning that has happened in advance, the smoother the time that people will have together. When people are together, plan more events. Leave less time for open-ended conversations and more time for a goal-directed activity. It's always good to give these people something to focus on rather than an open-ended conversation, because too many conversations, we all have big families, you know how that goes. So you could have the whole group going for a walk every evening. It could be a walk jog. It could be a little more fitness for those people who are inclined towards it. You could take the whole group and go for a trek. Or since there are all age groups together, everybody could sit together, get together and do a round of yoga. Yoga is the thing to do globally. So that could be something that everybody participates in. And the old and the young can all participate in this round of yoga. So that could be a fun activity. A sing and dance evening could be a fun activity that everybody participates in. There is a lot of effort being put in, a lot of fun being had, a lot of conversations being had, but the conversations are not steering to difficult subjects. The conversations stay on light, easy, fun subjects and situations. The youngsters can maybe plan a flash mob, and the elders can look suitably surprised during the flash mob. So these could be some fun things that the family could plan together. Most families have some people not getting along with other people. That's to be expected. And this is something that you have to plan for. So take some of these people aside and talk to them about their differences. Tell them to keep the differences aside, because these are just a few days that everybody is together. In these few days, perhaps everybody could have fun rather than get into some old baggage, some childhood worries and anxieties, and so on and so forth. So take them aside, talk to them, ask for their help, beseech them in helping to keep the family peace together. There may be a few people who are very strongly opinionated. Find a thread in their communication to possibly agree with, because if they find that you're agreeing with them, then the conversation will once again become peaceful. If it does not work, then simply agree to disagree. With all the best of your efforts, there will still be mini volcanoes and minor blow-ups and eruptions. This is to be expected, and much as you may try, you may just be able to avoid it, but you may just not. So this is something that you will need to account for. It might happen. How are you going to handle it? The more peaceful you are, the more quiet you are, the less people that get involved and engage in this kind of a minor eruption, the smoother and faster you will be able to bring things to a state of calmness. Remember, you are spending a few days together. You have chosen to spend these few days together. You no more live together. You may be siblings, you may be cousins. You no more live together. Everybody has their own homes. Their home is their own castle. They can be as they like and do as they like in their own castle. But for a few days, all of you have come together, and it would be a good idea to put aside too much of individuality and give the group its own identity. So keep aside your differences and remind yourself that you have chosen, you have made a choice to come together to spend this time. So suspend difficulties and spend this time by bringing in as much fun and gaiety as possible. The focus has to be to enjoy the season, to share together in the food, in the chatter, in the goodwill. The family is imperfect. Let's make this imperfection into a happy imperfection. The majority of us are lucky to be born into a family. This is our first peep into a larger community and society. Eventually, we do move out of this family and make a family for ourselves. Take a look at yourself. Are you in touch with your family, with your loved ones? Are you in touch with those who have been your close friends? Or are you perhaps just taking them for granted? Are they feeling cared for? Are they feeling like you have a concern for them? There are, however, some not so lucky ones who are not really born into a family and yearn for a belonging to one such structure. When you are growing into adulthood, an aspiration that perhaps everybody shares is to have your own home. So to begin with, all that is important is to have your own space. The next step is to own your own space. And from there, the concern is to have your own location, to even own the color of the walls in your space. So all of this time is invested in creating your own space. But take a moment to think. As you are getting ready to move into your own space, how are those people feeling whom you are leaving behind? These are the people who made room for you in their lives from the day you were born, who shared their space with you, who made space for you even if there was not enough. And now this space is going to be left empty. Do they know how they are going to fill this space? Do they know how they are going to manage this empty space in their lives? Have you thought about it? Are you concerned with their emotional well-being during this period? Take a step back. Chat with them. Ask them what their feelings are. How prepared are they to be by themselves? As you prepare to make a happy, fun, new home for yourself, take some steps to ensure that the home that you're leaving behind is also just as comfortable for those people. What are their concerns? Do they have medical issues? Are they in touch with doctors on a regular basis? Do they still have some friends that they can visit and share some happy moments with? Do they have bills that they find difficult to meet? What are their concerns? Get to know them. You should know these concerns more than they do if you don't want them to feel that you are taking them just a little bit for granted. In your formative years, you had a lot of friends. Pocket money could be counted, but not the number of friends that you had. Your family always threw their hands up in the air that yet another friend was visiting home. How many of those friends are still with you? How many new friends have you made? When you think about friends, are you comfortable with the companionship that you are getting from your friends? Or is it possible that in your quest for professional expertise, in your quest for professional success, friends is a commodity that you had to leave way behind? Not just friends, perhaps you do not have too much time for your family either. It's been days since you spent a happy, quiet moment with your family. It's been days since you took time to find out how the children are doing. It's definitely been a lot of days before you had time to meet your friends, perhaps just share an orange juice or a cup of coffee with them. So what can you do? What can you do to give yourself comfort and to also make the other person feel that they are significant in your life, that you're not really just taking them for granted? Chat with your partner. Perhaps you could make a little time for walk and talk evenings a few times in a week at least. Maybe you could watch a movie on television at home over a glass of wine. Perhaps you could spend a couple of evenings in a week sitting down together with the kids, finding out what are their latest projects, what are their concerns, are they comfortable with the math that is being taught to them? Remember, you had issues with math in your young days. Perhaps you had issues with some of the science studies. Perhaps you could share these concerns with them. Perhaps you could help them to reduce their own concerns. This togetherness is what is going to make all of you come together as a happy unit and indicate to them that while you may be extremely busy, you always remain concerned for the welfare of the entire unit. Your life should ideally be planned like a pie, which means there are many sections, many wedges to this pie, and each of them, big or small, holds a significant position in the entirety of your life. To make your life happy, all these pies need to, all the pieces of this pie need to coexist. They need to be in harmony. They need time to be allocated to each one of them. And they need a recognition from you that each of the wedges of this pie are just as significant, whether they are small or big. So a big piece of this pie could be your profession. It could be your work. A significant part of our adult lives is anyway given to work. So the biggest part of your pie could be your work. How about your family? How about your friends? How about some personal good health habits? How about some habits to take care of your mental health? How about creating a catch-up time? How about some activities of leisure, relaxation, perhaps adventure, perhaps fitness, perhaps trekking? Ensure that you add all of these activities into your pie. Ensure that all the members in your pie experience your care and concern. Make sure that all your time is not being spent only on giving yourself happiness, but also the happiness of those significant members in your life. Thank you. We're experiencing perhaps the strangest time in all our lives. This is something that we all share, and that is 2020. And 2020 has put us through strange situations. And what if in this year, in 2020, if you find yourself alone and unable to join your family and your close friends in celebrations and festivities? What do you do if you find yourself alone? How do you celebrate? Do you remain sad in your room, in your apartment? Or do you find a way to make the celebration happen, even if in aloneness? Take a moment to think about this. Festivals are always portrayed as a happy time. Happy family, lots of cheer, interesting smart clothes, shopping, festival lights, festival colors, gaiety, smiling faces, lots of love and affection. But you are alone. Who do you show your affection to? How do you receive love and affection? How do you manage this time? Is it just a moment of secret pleasure for you that you're not with your family? And anyway, it is much more than the fun time it is made out to be. You would much rather be by yourself, not exactly with your family. Is that a secret thought that you have? Well, this is that secret thought come true. You are by yourself. Your family is not with you. Introspect and think. Are you happy and relieved? Or perhaps you are just beginning to realize that you could do with just a few people around you. A celebration is not a celebration unless there are a couple of people around you to smile with, to laugh with, to chitter-chatter with. It could also be nothing to do with COVID. It could be that you have been transferred to another city and you are yet to make friends. You're all alone by yourself. You have no family. Or it could be that you moved to another country and now, because of travel restrictions, you're not able to come back home. So for many reasons, you might just find yourself all alone in your hotel room. Your thought could be, I am so sad, I am so lonely, I am alone, I don't have anybody around me. What a dull time, what a sad time. These could be your thoughts. Or switch your mind a little bit and your thought could be, well, I may not have the best time. It may not be a perfect celebration of my festivals, but I could do the second best thing. The trouble is, if we can't get the best thing, most of the time we switch to the complete other end and think that this is going to be the worst time. So how about treating this festive season perhaps as the second best time? You could make a few efforts to put in a little bit of comfort and happiness into this, but you will have to make that effort because you are alone by yourself. This cannot be a joint family effort. You could have a few neighbors. You could have some people living alongside you in the hotel that you are in or the apartment that you are in. You might have some work peers who are also stuck in this place like you are. All of them have the same feeling that you have. They are all alone. They are all without family. They all know nobody in this strange new place. You may be living alone in a hotel or in an apartment all by yourself, but look around you. You might just have a few neighbors in rooms around you, perhaps a few work peers who are also alone by themselves, away from family. Strangers in a city, they do not know what to do. You're all in a similar situation. Reach out to a few of these people. Reach out to some of your neighbors. Reach out to your peers. They may be strangers, but during this festive time, everybody has the same feeling, wanting to be together with near and dear. Reach out to a few of them. This might be a fun, interesting time for you to maybe call home and pick up one or two family recipes, some simple, easy recipes that you might want to try your hand at. You are alone. Even if you make a mess, you can always throw it out and order yourself some other food. But give it a try. It might be something to remember. I was alone in this new place and I actually tried a family recipe and it was not too bad. So do something different, try something new, but do something to make this time a not so bad time for yourself. Or if nothing else seems to work, then go to the city center, go for a walk. Hang around the city center where there are lots of people who have gotten together to celebrate their festivities. They may be bursting crackers. They may be cheering each other. There may be some sort of a group event that everybody is participating in. Be around people. Being alone and by yourself, especially in moments of celebration and festivities, might give rise to sadness and loneliness, not just a feeling of being alone. So, why take a chance with that? Surround yourself, be in the presence of people, and get the benefit of the positivity of having people laughing and cheering and having a fun time around you. Get the benefit of that, absorb that atmosphere in within you. All in all, tell yourself this may not be the best festival that you have had so far, but just because it's not the best is not enough reason for it to be the worst either. Take some care of yourself, bring in a few new practices into your life, and you might just find that you can bring in a little bit of togetherness. You can make this at least a second best festival for yourself. So, what if you are alone? You don't have to be lonely. Reach out to a few people.